abbreviate, abbreviate, abbreviate. Abet, abet, abet. Abolish, abolish, abolish. Abrasion, abrasion, abrasion. Abscess, abscess, abscess. Absolute, absolute, absolute. Abstract, abstract, abstract. Absurd, absurd, absurd. Accolade, accolade, accolade. Accompany, accompany, accompany. Acquire, acquire, acquire. Acumen, acumen, acumen. Adequate, adequate, adequate. Adhere, adhere, adhere. Adrift, adrift, adrift. Adventure, adventure, adventure. Affirmative, affirmative, affirmative. Affront, affront, affront. Afloat, afloat, afloat. Agony, agony, agony. Agrarian, agrarian, agrarian. Alacrity, alacrity, alacrity. Alienate, alienate, alienate. Allege, allege, allege. Allowance, allowance, allowance. Allure, allure, allure. Amateurish, amateurish, amateurish. Ambassador, ambassador, ambassador. Ambidextrous, ambidextrous, ambidextrous. Amiable, amiable, amiable. Amicable, amicable, amicable. Amnesia, amnesia, amnesia. Android, android, android. Anecdote, anecdote, anecdote. Antidote, antidote, antidote. Antiseptic, antiseptic, antiseptic. Apostrophe, apostrophe, apostrophe. Appendix, appendix, appendix. Applicable, applicable, applicable. Appraise, appraise, appraise. Ardent, ardent, ardent. Arrogant, arrogant, arrogant. Assessor, assessor, assessor. Astray, astray, astray. Asylum, asylum, asylum. Asymmetrical, asymmetrical, asymmetrical. Atheist, atheist, atheist. Attempt, attempt, attempt. Attribute, attribute, attribute. Bachelor, bachelor, bachelor. Backlash, backlash, backlash. Baffle, baffle, baffle. Ballet, ballet, ballet. Ballot, ballot, ballot. Banquet, banquet, banquet. Barbecue, barbecue, barbecue. Badge, badge, badge. Barter, barter, barter. Bedridden, bedridden, bedridden. Behavior, behavior, behavior. Belligerent, belligerent, belligerent. Bigot, bigot, bigot. Blackhead, blackhead, blackhead. Blackmail, blackmail, blackmail. Blatant, blatant, blatant. Bleak, bleak, bleak. Bluff, bluff, bluff. Boast, boast, boast. Bolster, bolster, bolster. Bonnet, bonnet, bonnet. bounty, bounty, bounty. Braille, braille, braille. Brash, brash, brash. Breach, breach, breach. Brooch, brooch, brooch. Brood, brood, brood. Buffet, buffet, buffet. Bureaucrat, bureaucrat, bureaucrat. Burgle, burgle, burgle. Bursary, bursary, bursary. Busker, busker, busker. Bystander, bystander, bystander. Cash, cash, cash. Cafeteria, cafeteria, cafeteria. Cajole, cajole, cajole. Calamity, calamity, calamity. Camaraderie, camaraderie, camaraderie. Canary, canary, canary. Candidate, candidate, candidate. Canister, canister, canister. Carcass, carcass, carcass. Caricature, caricature, caricature. Cartridge, cartridge, cartridge. Catwalk, catwalk, catwalk. Caucasian, Caucasian, Caucasian. Celluloid, celluloid, celluloid. Centenary, centenary, centenary. Character, character, character. Chateau, chateau, chateau. Chauvinist, chauvinist, chauvinist. Chorus, chorus, chorus. Chrysalis, chrysalis, chrysalis. Circumference, circumference, circumference. Civilization, civilization, civilization. Clandestine, clandestine, clandestine. Clearance, clearance, clearance. Cling, cling, cling. Clone, clone, clone. Cobweb, cobweb, cobweb. Cockpit, cockpit, cockpit. Cog, cog, cog. Coherent, coherent, coherent. Coleslaw, coleslaw, coleslaw. Colic, colic, colic. Collapse, collapse, collapse. Collective, collective, collective. Collision, collision, collision. Combat, combat, combat. Combine, combine, combine. Combined, combined, combined. Combines, combines, combines. Combining, combining, combining. Comedian, comedian, comedian. Comma, comma, comma. Commence, commence, commence. Commonplace, commonplace, commonplace. Communal, communal, communal. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Compartment, compartment, compartment. Complicate, complicate, complicate. Con, con, con. Conceal, conceal, conceal. Concede, concede, concede. Conceit, conceit, conceit. Condense, condense, condense. Condominium, condominium, condominium. Confidant, confidant, confidant. Confident, confident, confident. Congratulate, congratulate, congratulate. congregate, congregate, congregate. Consideration, consideration, consideration. Consort, consort, consort. Conspicuous, conspicuous, conspicuous. Constitute, constitute, constitute. Constrained, constrained, constrained. Constraint, constraint, constraint. Contemplate, contemplate, contemplate. Contribute, contribute, contribute. Converge, converge, converge. Convulsion, convulsion, convulsion. Cordial, cordial, cordial. Counteract, counteract, counteract. Coup, coup, coup. Courteous, courteous, courteous. Craze, craze, craze. Criterion, criterion, criterion. Criticism, criticism, criticism. Crouch, crouch, crouch. Culprit, culprit, culprit. Curfew, curfew, curfew. Curiosity, curiosity, curiosity. Cyclical, cyclical, cyclical. Cynic, cynic, cynic. Dashing, dashing, dashing. Days, days, days. Debatable, debatable, debatable. Debrief, debrief, debrief. Debutante, debutante, debutante. Decadence, decadence, decadence. Deception, deception, deception. Deciduous, deciduous, deciduous. Decisive, decisive, decisive. Decorate, decorate, decorate. Decree, decree, decree. Deed, deed, deed. Defiant, defiant, defiant. Definitive, definitive, definitive. Deflate, deflate, deflate. Deforestation, deforestation, deforestation. Deft, deft, deft. Delicacy, delicacy, delicacy. Delinquent, delinquent, delinquent. Deluge, deluge, deluge. Delusion, delusion, delusion. Demean, demean, demean. Demented, demented, demented. Demure, demure, demure. Denigrate, denigrate, denigrate. Deport, deport, deport. Deputation, deputation, deputation. Derivation, derivation, derivation. Deserve, deserve, deserve. Desperate, desperate, desperate. Despondent, despondent, despondent. Determiner, determiner, determiner. Detriment, detriment, detriment. Devote, devote, devote. Dialect, dialect, dialect. Diligent, diligent, diligent. Diminish, diminish, diminish. Diner, diner, diner. Disarray, disarray, disarray. Discomfort, discomfort, discomfort. Discrepancy, discrepancy, discrepancy. discriminate, 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 disjointed, 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 disorganized, 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 disparate, 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 dissent, 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 dissimilar, 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 dormitory, 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 donut, 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 downright, 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 downturn, 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 dress, 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 droop, 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 dungeon, 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 duress, 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 eaves, 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 ecstasy, 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 eczema, 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 effluent, 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 ego, 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 electricity, 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 electrifying, 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 eliminate, 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 embassy, 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 embitter, 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 embody, 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 emboss, 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 eminence, 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 emphasis, 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 encapsulate, 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 encroach, 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 encyclopedia, 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 endorse, 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 endure, 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 engrave, 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 enlist, 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 enlarge, 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 enthrall, 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 entirety, 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 entitle, 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 entrenched, 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 enviable, 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 envoy, 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 epidemic, 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 epilepsy, 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 equivalent, 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 eradicate, 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 errand, 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 erudite, 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 escalator, 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 escapism, 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 etymology, 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 euphoria, 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 exacerbate, 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 exaggerate, 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 excavate, 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 exceptional, 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 exclusive, 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 expensive, 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 extinct, 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 extremist, 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 exuberant, 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 eyelid, 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 eyewitness, 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 fabled, 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 facelift, 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 faceless, faceless, faceless. Faculty, faculty, faculty. Fallout, fallout, fallout. Fanfare, fanfare, fanfare. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Fastidious, fastidious, fastidious. Favoritism, favoritism, favoritism. Feeler, feeler, feeler. Feminine, feminine, feminine. Ferment, ferment, ferment. Ferocious, ferocious, ferocious. Fetus, 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 fetus. Fib, fib, fib. Figurative, figurative, figurative. Filth, filth, filth. Finesse, finesse, finesse. Fitful, fitful, fitful. Flabbergasted, flabbergasted, flabbergasted. Flagrant, flagrant, flagrant. Flammable, flammable, flammable. Flatulence, flatulence, flatulence. Flightless, flightless, flightless. Fling, fling, fling. Flippant, flippant, flippant. Floorboard, floorboard, floorboard. Flourish, flourish, flourish. Fluoride, fluoride, fluoride. Flurry, flurry, flurry. Foolhardy, foolhardy, foolhardy. Footnote, footnote, footnote. Foreboding, foreboding, foreboding. Forecourt, forecourt, forecourt. Forefront, forefront, forefront. Foretell, foretell, foretell. Formative, formative, formative. Fracas, fracas, fracas. Fractious, fractious, fractious. Framework, framework, framework. Fraud, fraud, fraud. Freehold, freehold, freehold. Frizzy, frizzy, frizzy. Fulcrum, fulcrum, fulcrum. Furrow, furrow, furrow. Fuss, fuss, fuss. Gag, gag, gag. Gate, gate, gate. Galaxy, galaxy, galaxy. Galvanize, galvanize, galvanize. Gambit, gambit, gambit. Gape, gape, gape. Gob, gob, gob. Garbled, garbled, garbled. Garish, garish, garish. Garnish, garnish, garnish. Gaudy, gaudy, gaudy. Generic, generic, generic. Genesis, genesis, genesis. Gingerly, gingerly, gingerly. Gladiator, gladiator, gladiator. Glint, glint, glint. Glisten, glisten, glisten. Glut, glut, glut. Godfather, godfather, godfather. Goldsmith, goldsmith, goldsmith. Gory, gory, gory. Gracious, gracious, gracious. Graft, graft, graft. Grope, grope, grope. Groundless, 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 grueling, 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 guideline, 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 gullible, 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 gully, 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 hacker, 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 hemorrhage, 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 heartthrob, 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 hemisphere, 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 hereditary, 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 Hessian, 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 hideout, 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 hilarious, 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 hilarity, 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 hilt, 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 hinge, 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 hippie, 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 hitch, 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 hopeless, 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 hoard, 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 horseshoe, 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 hostage, 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 hubbub, 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 hank, 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 hypocrisy, 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 idealize, 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 illiterate, 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 immemorial, 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 impale, 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 impatient, 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 impending, 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 imperative, 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 impersonal, 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 impetuous, 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 implication, 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 imprisoned, 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 incentive, 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 inception, 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 incessant, 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 incision, 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 inclination, 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 incline, 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 incubator, 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 indicative, 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 indignity, 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 indulgence, 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 infernal, 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 infest, 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 inflammable, 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 inflict, 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 influential, 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 informative, 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 ingenious, 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 ingot, 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 inhibition, 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 innocent, 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 inscribe, 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 insipid, 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 instantaneous, 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 instrumental, 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 integrate, 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 intelligentsia, 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 intermittent, 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 intolerable, 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 intrepid, 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 introvert, 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 intrusive, intrusive, intrusive. Intuitive, intuitive, intuitive. Involuntary, involuntary, involuntary. Irresistible, irresistible, irresistible. Jab, jab, jab. Jarkag, jarkag, jarkag. Jeopardy, jeopardy, jeopardy. Jinx, jinx, jinx. Judicious, judicious, judicious. Kaleidoscopic, kaleidoscopic, kaleidoscopic. Keel, keel, keel. Kelvin, Kelvin, Kelvin. Curb, curb, curb. Kerosene, kerosene, kerosene. Keyed, keyed, keyed up, up, up. Kilohertz, kilohertz, kilohertz. Kilowatt, kilowatt, kilowatt. Kilojoule, kilojoule, kilojoule. Knee jerk, knee jerk, knee jerk. Labyrinth, labyrinth, labyrinth. Lackluster, lackluster, lackluster. Lanky, lanky, lanky. Laughable, laughable, laughable. Lavatory, lavatory, lavatory. Lavish, lavish, lavish. Lay by, lay by, lay by. Lease, lease, lease. Leash, leash, leash. Lecture, lecture, lecture. Life, life, life jacket, jacket, jacket. Lifeless, lifeless, lifeless. Lighter, lighter, lighter. Likeness, likeness, likeness. Limitation, limitation, limitation. Limousine, limousine, limousine. Licorice, licorice, licorice. Literary, literary, literary. Living, living, living. Locate, locate, locate. Longhand, longhand, longhand. Long-standing, long-standing, long-standing. Lubricate, lubricate, lubricate. Lunar, lunar, lunar. Lure, lure, lure. Mafia, mafia, mafia. Magnanimous, magnanimous, magnanimous. Mahogany, mahogany, mahogany. Malaise, malaise, malaise. Malicious, malicious, malicious. Mallet, mallet, mallet. Malleable, malleable, malleable. Mantelpiece, mantelpiece, mantelpiece. Manuscript, manuscript, manuscript. Marooned, marooned, marooned. Mascara, mascara, mascara. Massacre, massacre, massacre. Massive, massive, massive. Mausoleum, mausoleum, mausoleum. Meager, meager, meager. Meandering, meandering, meandering. Medallion, medallion, medallion. Mediocre, mediocre, mediocre. Madly, madly, madly. Melodious, melodious, melodious. Membrane, membrane, membrane. Mental, mental, mental. Methodical, methodical, methodical. Metropolitan, 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 middling, 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 militant, 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 mimic, 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 mindless, 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 misconception, 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 mistrust, 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 mitigation, 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 mitten, 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 monstrosity, 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 morose, 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 mound, 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 museum, 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 muslin, 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 muted, 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 mysterious, 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 narrative, 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 necessity, 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 negligent, 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 network, 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 neutral, 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 nickel, 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 niggle, 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 nightingale, 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 nominate, 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 northerly, 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 noticeable, 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 notify, 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 notorious, 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 nourishment, 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 nozzle, 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 nutritious, 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 nutty, 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 oak, 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 oasis, 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 obituary, 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 objectionable, 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 obligation, 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 oblique, 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 observant, 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 observatory, 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 obsession, 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 abstract, 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 oddments, 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 offering, 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 offing, 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 offshore, 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 offspring, 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 emission, 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 opera, 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 opportunism, 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 oppressed, 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 optimum, 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 orphanage, 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 out and out, out and out, out and out, outcast, 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 outlandish, 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 outmoded, 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 outstrip, 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 overboard, 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 overload, 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 overrun, 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 overtake, 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 oxymoron, 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 pediatrics, 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 painstaking, 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 poultry, 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 panacea, 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 pane, 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 panel, 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 paraphrase, 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 parentage, 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 partition, 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 pass, pass, pass away, 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 pass, pass, pass out, 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 passionate, 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 pathetic, 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 patio, 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 patronize, 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 paunch, 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 pavement, 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 peewee, 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 ponchon, 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 penitent, 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 pensioner, 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 pensive, 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 peony, 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 perceive, 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 percentage, 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 perceptible, 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 perennial, 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 perfectionist, 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 perimeter, 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 parish, 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 perm, 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 perpendicular, 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 perpetuate, 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 perspective, 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 pertain, 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 perturbed, 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 petrified, 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 petulant, 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 pheasant, 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 philosophical, 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 pickaxe, 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 picturesque, 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 peer, 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 piggyback, 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 pinnacle, 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 pitcher, 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 pith, 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 placate, 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 plague, 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 plaudit, 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 playgroup, 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 plethora, 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 plonk, 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 bloy, 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 plush, 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 pneumatic, 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 point blank, point blank, point blank, poised, 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 pompous, 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 ponder, 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 porcelain, 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 pour, 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 porthole, 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 postpone, 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 pothole, 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 prance, 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 prattle, 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 proceed, 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 precipitate, 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 predecessor, 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 preference, 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 premier, 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 preparatory, 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 prerogative, 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 prescription, 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 pressurize, 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 pretentious, 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 prevent, 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 prickle, 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 primarily, 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 priority, 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 privilege, 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 probability, 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 procession, 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 proclaim, 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 procure, 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 proficient, 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 profuse, 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 progressive, 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 projector, 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 prolong, 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 prompt, 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 propeller, 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 prospect, 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 protestation, 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 protracted, 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 prowess, 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 pry, 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 puppet, 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 purist, 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 putty, 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 quadruped, 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 qualm, 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 quarry, 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 quaver, 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 queer, 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 questionable, 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 quote, 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 radiate, 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 raid, 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 ramble, 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 ransack, 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 rarity, 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 rating, 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 rationale, 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 rave, 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 reassess, 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 rebellion, 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 recap, 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 reciprocate, 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 recite, 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 reclaim, 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 reconcile, 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 reconsider, 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 recourse, 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 recreation, 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 recurring, 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 redress, 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 reflex, 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 reform, 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 refugee, 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 regal, 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 regenerate, 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 regime, 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 regulation, 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 rehearsal, 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 reinforce, 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 reiterate, 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 relent, 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 reliant, 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 relic, 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 relish, 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 rely, 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 remainder, 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 remedial, 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 renewable, 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 renowned, 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 repel, 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 replica, 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 representation, 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 repress, 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 repulse, 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 reputed, 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 reside, 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 resistant, 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 resourceful, 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 responsive, 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 restaurant, 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 restrained, 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 retina, 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 retreat, 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 retro, 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 reunite, 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 revamp, 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 revere, 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 reversible, 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 revolution, 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 rid, 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 ridge, 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 rifle, 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 rigid, 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 rip, 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 road, road, road rage, 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 rocking, rocking, rocking chair, 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 rocky, 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 roll, 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 roofing, 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 rotor, 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 roundabout, 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 ruffle, 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 ruin, 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 rumble, 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 runny, 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 rust, 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 rusty, 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 sable, 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 safari, 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 saintly, 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 sanitation, 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 sarcastic, 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 sardonic, 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 saunter, 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 savagery, 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 savor, 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 scaffolding, 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 scapegoat, 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 scorching, 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 scrounge, 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 scruple, 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 scrutiny, 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 scythe, 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 seam, 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 secretive, 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 self-defense, 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 self-indulgent, 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 semblance, 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 senior, senior, senior citizen, 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 sequel, 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 sergeant, 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 serrated, 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 sewage, 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 sewerage, 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 shack, 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 shaggy, 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 shard, 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 shatter, 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 shavings, 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 shirk, 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 shortfall, 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 shove, shove, shove off, 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 shrunken, 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 shuffle, 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 sidestep, 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 silhouette, 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 simplify, 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 singly, 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 sizable, 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 skyscraper, 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 slander, 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 slay, 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 slouch, 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 smear, 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 smirk, 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 smolder, 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 snare, 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 sneer, 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 snort, 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 snug, 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 sober, 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 solder, 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 solitude, 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 sometime, 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 sonnet, 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 sophisticated, 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 sound, sound, sound effect, 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 spacious, 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 Spartan, 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 spate, 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 specification, 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 spectacular, 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 spin, 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 splendid, 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 splutter, 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 spooky, 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 sprawl, 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 spur, 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 squadron, 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 squander, 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 squeak, 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 stamp, 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 stance, 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 stand alone, stand alone, stand alone, stand by, stand by, stand by, standpoint, 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 stereotype, 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 stipulate, 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 stoke, 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 stoop, 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 stranglehold, 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 strenuous, 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 strife, 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 stubborn, 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 stumble, 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 stunt, 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 subcontinent, 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 sublime, 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 subsequent, 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 subservient, 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 subway, subway, subway. Suction, suction, suction. Suffice, suffice, suffice. Summary, summary, summary. Sunbathe, sunbathe, sunbathe. Superego, superego, superego. Superlative, superlative, superlative. Suppress, suppress, suppress. Surfeit, surfeit, surfeit. Surmise, surmise, surmise. Surreal, surreal, surreal. Survival, survival, survival. Suspend, suspend, suspend. Sustain, sustain, sustain. Swindle, swindle, swindle. Swivel, swivel, swivel. Symbolize, symbolize, symbolize. Synonymous, synonymous, synonymous. Tackle, tackle, tackle. Take, take, take two, two, two. Tang, tang, tang. Tangible, tangible, tangible. Tannin, tannin, tannin. Tarot, tarot, tarot. Taunt, taunt, taunt. Tear away, tear away, tear away. Technique, technique, technique. Telegram, telegram, telegram. Telegraph, telegraph, telegraph. Televise, televise, televise. Temperamental, temperamental, temperamental. Template, template, template. Tenacious, tenacious, tenacious. Tentative, tentative, tentative. Terminate, terminate, terminate. Terrorize, terrorize, terrorize. Thankless, thankless, thankless. Thanksgiving, thanksgiving, thanksgiving. Threat, threat, threat. Throb, throb, throb. Tidings, tidings, tidings. Timing, timing, timing. Timpani, timpani, timpani. Tiresome, tiresome, tiresome. Toddle, toddle, toddle. Tolerable, tolerable, tolerable. Tome, tome, tome. Topple, topple, topple. Trader, trader, trader. Traditional, traditional, traditional. Tragic, tragic, tragic. Tram, tram, tram. Transcribe, transcribe, transcribe. Treadmill, treadmill, treadmill. Tremble, tremble, tremble. Trench, trench, trench. Triumphal, triumphal, triumphal. Triumphant, triumphant, triumphant. Drounce, drounce, drounce. Truss, druss, druss. Tunic, tunic, tunic. Turbulent, turbulent, turbulent. Twinge, twinge, twinge. Twisted, twisted, twisted. Twit, twit, twit. Two-faced, two-faced, two-faced. Typical, typical, typical. Underprivileged, underprivileged, underprivileged. Unfortunate, unfortunate, unfortunate. utter, utter, utter. Vagrant, vagrant, vagrant. Valet, valet, valet. Valuation, valuation, valuation. Vanity, vanity, vanity. Vanquish, vanquish, vanquish. Variance, variance, variance. Vendetta, vendetta, vendetta. Vendor, vendor, vendor. Vengeance, vengeance, vengeance. Ventilate, ventilate, ventilate. Verify, verify, verify. Vertex, vertex, vertex. Veto, veto, veto. Vexed, vexed, vexed. Vice, vice, vice. Vi, vi, vi. Vintage, vintage, vintage. Virtue, virtue, virtue. Volunteer, volunteer, volunteer. Wallop, wallop, wallop. Wanton, wanton, wanton. Warfare, warfare, warfare. Wart, wart, wart. Weir, weir, weir. Well-being, well-being, well-being. Wheeze, wheeze, wheeze. Way, way, way. Wine, wine, wine. Whinge, whinge, whinge. Whiplash, whiplash, whiplash. Whisper, whisper, whisper. Wield, wield, wield. Wilderness, wilderness, wilderness. Willful, willful, willful. Wily, wily, wily. Windowsill, windowsill, windowsill. Wisecrack, wisecrack, wisecrack. Wisp, wisp, wisp. Wistful, wistful, wistful. Wither, wither, wither. Workmanship, workmanship, workmanship. Workplace, workplace, workplace. Wrangle, wrangle, wrangle. Wrath, wrath, wrath. Wreckage, wreckage, wreckage. Wrestle, wrestle, wrestle. Ring, ring, ring. Wrongful, wrongful, wrongful. Xanthoma, xanthoma, xanthoma. Xerography, xerography, xerography. Xylophone, xylophone, xylophone. Yen, yen, yen. Yeoman, yeoman, yeoman. Yob, yob, yob. Yourself, yourself, yourself. Zenith, zenith, zenith. Zing, zing, zing. Zit, zit, zit. Zoology, zoology, zoology.